Welcome members, welcome viewers, welcome listeners. I'm Stephen Nicholson, CEO and Director of RMA, the Rocky Mountain Association of Entrepreneurs. And today we have a special guest, Tomika Davis with TDavis Financial. She's here today to kind of talk about her business and kind of her vision. Welcome, Tomika. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about TDavis Financial and kind of what kind of a summary of your business in one or two sentences, just kind of a general overview?
The overview is, to make it as simple as possible, taking care of your financial heartbeat. I focus on credit and improving credit, helping people with tips and tricks on how to take that next big step, whether it's buying a house, a car, or just correcting past mistakes.
That's amazing. So basically you're giving people the tools to have a little bit more awareness about their financial situation, which that's something that everybody needs, of course, as entrepreneurs. And I noticed that entrepreneurs specifically are sometimes not so great about their personal finances. And it's because their mind is always into this, how am I going to help my business grow? But when they think about their personal finances, it can be a little problematic. So that's really important.
Yeah, I love what I do. I focus so much on the education piece because, as I guess a Gen X, I don't know. We've gone through mistake after mistake after mistake, not knowing how to fix it. So my job is to fix those past mistakes. And, you live life, you live, you learn. But then when it comes to having the knowledge to go out and buy a house or a car, you just know you need good credit. Well, what does that look like, So I focus strictly on the education piece.
That's amazing. Breaking it down into kind of a step-by-step process. I think with personal finance, it's more of a mindset than anything, because you have to have those things in the back of your mind. Otherwise, like you said, you're going to keep repeating those same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yep. And I live it. I improved my score last year by about 200 points.
Wow.
And so I just literally tell everybody what I did to get you to where I'm currently at.
That's amazing. And the fact that you're doing this in real time, so you know that this is a proven system that works because you've personally gone through it. So that's really helpful in people being a little bit more confident in the product because they know that it actually works.
Yep.
That's great. Can you tell me kind of some of the core values with TDavis Financial? Like, what are some of the main things that you bring as far as your personal experiences and values, like, into the business?
I would definitely say sympathy and empathy is a huge one, because talking about finances is one of those things that you don't really want to divulge into, and you don't want to be judged. And because I've lived it, I can understand it. I'm also able to take the route of an educator. So I sit back, I listen, I'm a counselor. I have my certification as a credit counselor. So we learn how to, like I said, be sympathetic, be empathetic, and listening and taking notes is really, really huge. And, when you do go to counseling, you want somebody who's not judgmental, who actually will understand where you're coming from and, shed the tears if you need to, because that's part of the process. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And, I feel like one thing with getting a good financial counselor is you have to be able to be honest about where you are in the process. And if you can't accept exactly what position you are, it's going to be really hard for you to get that roadmap to get back to where you need to go, because you have to have that personal acceptance for, even if you've made mistakes, like I did make these mistakes, these happen, but I want to look forward on how to improve that and make that better.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Tomika. Let's see. My next question for you is, how did you get started with your business, first off, and then also kind of what is your vision for your business? Where do you see it operating at its complete height and potential?
So I started in 2017, the summer of 2017. My business partner now, but at the time he was a friend, he said, "Hey, I have a way for you to improve your credit score and make money doing it." And I was like, "That's not a thing. People don't do that." Well, that was exactly what it was. I moved to Colorado, or back to Colorado, in 2013. At the time I was engaged, and I had a credit score of about 760. I didn't have credit, but I had a good score. I had a lot of debt, which was all student loans. So I went to lease a car, and they said, "Well, you don't have enough credit." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I've got student loans." They were like, "Ma'am, that's debt." And in that moment, I learned the difference between credit and debt. And so I was able to lease the car, and it was my first time applying for a credit card. So I was like, let me just see what happens. I got approved for 2 credit cards, a total of $12,000. And I was like, oh, I'm in the money now. But knowing the credit game, there's a price to pay with having that credit score and that amount of credit extended to you. So, long story short, within a year and a half, I had dropped my credit score by maxing out the cards to a
Okay.
535. And so that's when I was like, well, what does all of this mean? I need to educate myself. And fast forward to 2017, my friend comes along, and I get into the business of learning about credit and bringing other people into the business to learn about credit and improve your credit. And fast forward to May of 2020, I launched my own LLC, which is TDavis Financial. And I was like, you know what? With everything that I learned, I'm going to teach people what I learned. And then fast forward to now, I improved my score 200 points. And in about 8 weeks, I will be closing on a house that I built. So
wow, that's amazing. That's such a personal success story that's so important. And I've noticed this with a lot of entrepreneurs, that when they start their businesses, a lot of people are solving personal problems that they have. So
absolutely,
you had a credit score that was really low. You didn't understand why, and you wanted to figure out, well, how do I educate myself about this? And then that turns into, other people can use this too. There's, I'm sure, a lot of other people that want to educate themselves about their credit score, and be able to boost that up and know what they're supposed to be doing to be able to improve that credit score. So that's such a great story. It's very similar with Arme. When I first joined Arme, I was an entrepreneur, and I was looking around. I was like, I just don't have the information that I need to start a business. Where do I go? What resources do I find? I don't know what to do. And then that turned into, well, I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs that need this as well. So that's when we started providing resources for everyone. So it's a great business model to be able to identify a problem that you personally have and know that other people around you also have that problem.
Yep. I've run into quite a few people that, my business is out there by word of mouth. So I've run into quite a few people, from millionaires that have all this money and know nothing about credit. They just know how to make money, to a millennial that just wanted to improve her score so she could buy a cell phone. So my gamut is huge. My ideal client, I don't have an ideal client, because they range from this to this. So yeah.
Exactly. So there's not just one type of person that needs this education. It's all across the board.
It's all over. And when I first got into this, I was like, well, I'm going to focus on single moms because I'm a single mom. And then I forgot, well, there's single dads too. And then I started going to networking events and exploring other avenues. And I was like, wait a minute. This is like a universal thing. Finances is a universal thing. Credit is a universal thing. Everybody needs to know what I know.
That's amazing, Tomika. Can you tell me kind of a little bit about, as far as your business goes, like what impact do you want to make on your community?
I want to be able to stop the cycle of being financially illiterate. I focus, like I said, on financial literacy, and with me being a product of my product, it's so huge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. So my son he'll be 20 in a couple weeks, and within the last few weeks, apparently he's been paying attention this whole time to everything that I've said. He's come to seminars. He's like my tech man,
Mm-hmm.
and he went out, purchased a car with cash, got the title, got his license, passed the test, everything on his own. One day he comes home and he has a pair of keys and he's like, "Hey mom, I did it." And I was like, "What's happening? What did you just do? You did this without mom." And
Wow.
so in that alone, I know that I'm making a difference and an impact. And, you just never know what your kids listen to. But apparently, I planted a seed to where he understood the concept of, I don't want to be in debt, but I need to do this. I don't want this, but I need to do this. So
That totally makes sense. And when you see other people soaking up that information, you know that it's important, and you know that
mm-hmm,
it's relevant to what needs to happen today. So
mm-hmm.
that's such a great story. Can you tell people, Tomika, how do they get involved with you? How do they get connected with you?
So they can go to my website, which is TDavisFinancial.com. They can set up a 15-minute consultation, or they can reach out to me. My number is 720-507-5575.
Okay, great. Yeah. Definitely, members, if you don't know your credit score, then this is a great place to start. Call Tomika, get that consultation, and figure out what you need to do to improve your score. That's going to be such great information for all of our members. Thank you so much, Tomika.
Thank
My last
you.
question for you would be, do you have any advice for fellow entrepreneurs like yourself that are either just starting out or in the position that you're in, based on your experiences? What's one thing you could give as a piece of advice to our members?
I would say take the leap. Take the leap. It's scary, and you're not going to know what you're doing. But if you reach out, and I've always heard a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if you don't know something, ask someone. Someone knows something. That thing of 6 degrees of separation is not true anymore. It's probably about 2 or 3 degrees. So just take that leap and do your research and go for it. The sky's the limit.
I love that. That is such great advice. One thing that a lot of entrepreneurs, when I'm having personal conversations with them, they'll talk about the first time that they decided to jump out on their own or do something on their own. And it's always such a scary feeling. But the first thing I say to them is, first off, congratulations for taking that leap, because it's that first step. And every entrepreneur can remember that first time when they decided they're no longer going to have a steady paycheck and they're going to do this on their own. So
Yep.
The fact that they remember that decision, and that everyone's so grateful for that, it just shows that, as no matter how scary it is, no matter how difficult it seems, in the long run, it's the right choice to make. So thank you so much, Tomika, for being here today.
So rewarding.
Again, for members, please go to TDavisFinancial.com. Reach out to Tomika, get that little consultation in, and make sure that you're keeping up on your finances, whether you don't know what your credit score is or if you need to start saving. I'm sure Tomika has many resources and ways that she can help you with your financial situation. Thanks so much for being here, Tomika.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephen.